see, so when I was growing up, I was a person who didn't even really have goals. And if I had them, they maybe lasted at most a week, a month, or just it was a very temporary thing. It really wasn't until this past year, maybe 2 years, where I really got serious on this journey of memorizing the Quran. And at that point, I realized like, okay, now I'm actually sticking with it for the first time. And there's a few things that I noticed that might actually be a benefit to you. Because honestly, if there's anything that you'll learn like while being on this journey is that a lot of the principles you learn from this, you can kind of transfer to any area of life. And one of the main reasons that I think a lot of people just quit their goals is because they stop right before you see any compounding, you see any kind of proof or any kind of evidence of any result. A lot of people have this desire of memorizing Quran. If they are to quit, it's usually in the beginning phase. And personally, I felt this as well. Like in the beginning stages where you're just getting started memorizing and it's very difficult. It's maybe taking you 2 hours to memorize a particular page. It's at that point where you think, maybe this was just like it wasn't for me. I'm not built for this. Maybe I should just stop right now. But the thing is, once I hit the first like 5 juz or few juz that I started getting comfortable with, and I started realizing, oh wait, this is going way faster now. And I'm actually starting to see like the progress of my memorization way more than in the beginning. And once this personally happens, your brain totally switches from kind of starting with that lazy, kind of forcing yourself to do it, to the point where now you actually want to do it because you're seeing this is actually working. So if there's any advice I'd give to someone who's just starting, is honestly just try to get past that first few like hurdles, that first few juz, because once you get past that, everything changes, and especially your mindset changes, and you will like the likelihood of you quitting goes down dramatically. And now the second reason I think a lot of people fall off their goals, and from what I noticed, what almost got me, is that your hunger for that particular goal will fall off. And ironically, this actually usually happens when the goal gets easy, when things get comfortable. You see, the first reason we talked about is kind of in the beginning when things are difficult. A lot of people will fall off there. But a lot of the times where I even doubted, or maybe I was thinking, oh man, maybe I should just stop now, or maybe I should just cool it, was actually when things were pretty easy, when I actually got pretty good at the skill. Because honestly, I think like subconsciously you're thinking, oh, I already memorized this much of the Quran, I already got really good on this goal. Maybe right now it's cool. Maybe I'm already at like the competent level. Maybe right now I should just end it. It's already kind of impressive how far I've gotten. And you see, when you get this kind of hunger decrease, what starts happening, and what happened to me is I just started missing days of memorizing. I started, even when I did memorize, I would just memorize for like 30 minutes. Or I'll start just like thinking everything was going at a real chill, smooth pace. I didn't really have that much urgency. And I think a lot of the reasons this happened to me is because I wasn't really comparing myself to the people who actually were like way ahead of me, because I just didn't really see them in my day-to-day life. In general, this like niche, this community of memorizing Quran, like chasing hifd, is already like pretty small in general. So imagine that in like real life. And in real life, there's not that many people actually like doing that with like real urgency, with real consistency, at least where I'm from. So I didn't really have any healthy comparison. Like, oh, my friend right here is at like 20 juz of the Quran memorized. He did it in like 6 months. I need to get up to that level. I didn't really have any of that. So I was already kind of comfortable with what I was doing. It wasn't until actually our online school community started growing to a few hundred members, and I started seeing people from all around the world. Those people were like 18 years old finishing the Quran, people from all spots of the world finishing the Quran, and who started from literally zero. And I started realizing like, wait, I'm actually not as good as I thought I was. There's people doing way more than I am. And this kind of exposure leads to like a healthy comparison. Obviously, you don't want to compare yourself to things that aren't really even like worth chasing. Something like this, something like the Quran, something this meaningful, when you see people going miles ahead of you, finishing their entire hifd, and you've just been going at this kind of slow pace, it starts pushing like, oh wait, you actually have to like wake up now. Now there's actually, you're seeing other people who are doing it. And by the way, if you're looking to join this community, feel free to check it out. The link's in the description. But also another thing that will kind of help you in terms of your exposure, and also in terms of maybe pushing you to regain that desire to want to memorize and that hunger, is also frequently like exposing yourself to the Quran. Not only does like listening to the Quran throughout your day really motivate you to want to memorize, but I would also hear like podcasts online, other people talking about their hifd journey, videos like this, and I would think, oh man, so there's other people doing this. And again, it kind of increases that urgency for you to want to memorize. And this actually brings me to the third reason, which is you kind of got lazy, you kind of get comfortable when you're on this journey, and you almost forgot about the whole purpose, the whole reason you're doing this. It might have started off with this like big motivation, this big kind of meaning, this big thing you're chasing, and then all of a sudden that feeling kind of tapers down, and you need to constantly be reminded like of the reality of this world. Everyone knows that feeling when someone close to you died, or you just got hit with like a big realization in your life. You got like a wake up call, and everything kind of takes off that like feeling of autopilot, and you get like back into realizing like the real purpose why you're here. If we're being honest, you only get that reminder maybe like, I would honestly say like once a year, right? So it's not that much. But the beautiful thing about like the Quran goal, the hifd goal, as compared to all other goals, is that when you're memorizing, you get this reminder way more often. Imagine literally your goal is memorizing a page, and on that page is just frequent reminders about the reality of this dunya, the death we will all face, like the total realities, the total kind of, the uncomfortable facts that we're all facing. That will kind of make a mindset that is so different than someone chasing an entirely different goal. So if you're thinking of like stopping your memorization or slowing down on it, just know that you're losing that particular feeling, that particular mindset. You might just get sucked back in to how like the vast majority of people are living, where everything's almost on autopilot. And then before you know it, they get this huge reminder and they start rethinking their entire life. It's honestly these reasons why I think I've still been consistent with the Quran even after all this time. Because like I said, when I was younger, I wasn't probably able to do this. I didn't really have that type of patience, that type of like habit building. But alhamdulillah, once you kind of like stack all these reasons, stack all these habits together, it'll make you something, especially if like you're on the Quran and you're trying, it will obviously be made easy for you. And inshallah, make you someone who's like way more consistent on it. But yeah, inshallah, that was a benefit. Assalamu alaikum.